Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. Italian Serie A dominated the coupon. Fiorentina Torino, as suggested in the live chat, this tended to be a tight one. There's going to be a goal in it, possibility of laying the draw second half. You'd have benefited more, A, with Fiorentina scoring first, and B, with a late goal, because the market would have increased the draw odds, thinking that the clock is ticking for Torino. Pretty much went the way of research, didn't it? We expected a tight unders match. Napoli and Monza, no such luck there. This is the second occasion now Napoli have cocked it up at home. Empoli was the last side who kept them to a 0-0 and nicked a late winner. Monza, keep them to a 0-0, nick a late winner. Pizzina will be mightily Pizzinaed off to have missed that penalty. To do a carbon copy of the Napoli-Empoli match. We can find that one here. A near carbon copy. Here it is. Keep them to 0-0. Nick a late winner. 91st minute on this occasion, but some Pizzina missing a penalty. Oh dear. Genoa and Inter Milan, who scored first? I did say Genoa could be a thorn in their side today, and indeed that proved the case. Did get the equaliser. I would have preferred actually Genoa to have scored first, but good research again. Really, I'm not sure if there was going to be a second half play here, laying the second half draw. Not so sure. Lots of changes with 20 minutes to go. Sanchez coming on for Arnautovic, Fratesi, Denzel Dumfries, Klaassen, Pavard, all the late cavalry charge, but nothing doing. Good research again. Not sure if there was a trading angle. I'm not sure if I would have taken Inter Milan on. Lazio and Frosinone, all about whether Frosinone scored first here. And they did. So I think really, as someone like Stephen Francis would do in the live chat webinar, he would caution us to check out the type of goal scored by the underdog. And in this case, it was a penalty by Frosinone. So I think that could have given you a green light, really, to get stuck in. 58th minute, half an hour to go. Laying over 1.5 goals would have been relatively high at this stage. But I personally would have done it myself. And +1 Lazio, you would have got amply rewarded, I think, getting involved on the hour mark or just after the hour mark. Good reaction from Lazio. I suggest this match would have been all about in-play stats, whether you'd have had the confidence boost of the in-play stats to take on that Frosinone lead. But I think it was gettable. It was a penalty. We can have a look at the in-play stats, but these are basic in-play stats, not paid for, but they might give you a clue. Second half, 7 goal attempts to 6, 4 shots on target to 1. I wonder if that 1 was just a penalty. Corner kicks, 2-1. So very defensively led match, this one. Very low corner kick count. But that was the second half. Throughout, just 6 corner kicks. 13 goal attempts, 5 on, 5 off. 3 blocked shots. I'm not sure if a blocked shot is the same as a shot on goal. And 6 corners to 2. Moving on down. What do the old Wolf get going? Let's have a look. I don't think there was anything else really doing yesterday. Oh, apart from our old pals. English Championship, League 1 and League 2. But they would have been purely in-play stats based. So I don't think there's little I can offer you there. Let's put this into league order so we can have a check at soccer24.com. All about really the in-play stats and our reaction to it. So we had a 0-0 at half-time for Southampton, who are coming off the back of scoring a shed load in their last match at higher odds. So certainly lay the draw second half with the Saints in pretty good recent form. And getting it done by the 63rd minute, you could have got out here. The fact that Southampton scored first, the draw odds would have risen markedly. But if they get a 2-0, that's your out. Whenever you lay the draw, the 2-0 is your best profitable outcome there. Brum and Bristol City 0-0, 2.4 the favourite, so not necessarily one I would take on. Leicester City scoring before half-time, so no real trading angle. They are a very good second half scoring side, it must be said, this Leicester City side. Coventry, odds-on favourite. Did they concede first against the Swans? Because the match ended, yes they did. So Walsh scoring first for Swansea. Quick reaction from Coventry, 3 minutes in. I'm not sure we could have got a trading angle out of that. But that was your angle in if you trusted 1.7, the favourite. That's why I focus on odds-on favourites here. 0-0 at half-time. 1.73 Middlesbrough against Huddersfield, who were really struggling this season. If Huddersfield scored first, that would have been an angle in for me. But no, Coburn scoring first for Borough. Hellick, a late winner. He could have laid the draw late on. Paul Hewson, the lead singer of U2, missing the penalty there. And looks like it was a reaction to the missed pen. Maybe it was a save, and he followed up. So redemption there. Hull and Blackburn, Desmond Tutu. By half-time, red card. When did the red card arrive? Because the red card would have been your green light, I think, to take on the Desmond. It came after the 3-2. You could have arguably laid the draw second half at reasonably short odds, and you'd have got that 3-2 from Hull. So that's your archetypal Desmond Tutu there. Two sides scoring 2 goals. Ipswich and QPR couldn't muster up a goal at 1.57. Good result for Sheffield Wednesday, considering they were red card, but they have tended to score in their matches, but without getting much out of the match. Rotherham and Sunderland. Rotherham eminently gettable at this stage. Did they score first against Sunderland? Indeed they did. Klukas, Inspector Klukas, scoring first. Clark getting the equaliser. I think that would have been a play. Laying over 1.5 goals very early in the second half, so laying over 1.5 goals wouldn't have cost you too much. Back Sunderland +1. We would not have done both teams to score, no, because it's far too late in the match. You wouldn't have got the value that we seek when using that kind of a hedge facility. West Brom and Leeds. Good result for West Brom against Leeds. Arguable if the in-play stats were in Leeds' favour for you to have laid over 1.5 goals. Back Leeds +1 and just sat back and hoped. 2.2 the favourite though. Lukewarm for Leeds. Do please pay attention to the market. It does give you clues. It's saying we don't hugely fancy Leeds today, but they are just slightly edging it. So they can't discount West Brom, quite simply. Wigan, good result at odds on. Easy as you like. 0-0 Exeter and Portsmouth. Not really a derby, is it? I think Exeter and Pompey are a bit further away on the south coast. Any other odds-ons? Peterborough and Barnsley. Yet another 2-2 for Peterborough. They will be sick of the sight of them. Putting in good performances, but not really rewarding. You could have made a profit had you stuck with Borough throughout. They had a 2-2 against Reading in the last match when they absolutely dominated that. But they had to come from behind against Barnsley here. A 1-2 lead for Barnsley. Depending on the time of that 1-2, well, it's right at the beginning of the second half. So I think you could have taken it on. In this case, you lay over 3.5 goals. Back Peterborough +1 if the difference between those odds is ample enough for you to get a decent profit. Clark Harris turning up with his brace to make that 2-2. I think that's a sequence to get next time Peterborough play. Too many 2-2 results. AFC Wimbledon and Colchester at Desmond by half-time. Desmond 2-2, 1.5 favourite. Wimbledon, that match ended 5-3, so you could have laid that draw second half. And Jim Davidson turning up in the 52nd minute for a 3-2. Al Hamadi making it 4-2. And that was it. That was your out. Your ideal out. Barrow and Accrington. Barrow got us a really good trade the other day. They're one of the top 2, I think, in English League 2. And if you look at the standings, they were 2-0 up. Well, they've gone down to 4th. They were, when they played Stockport, they were top 2. But did Accrington Stanley score first? Because that would have been an angle in. No, Barrow scored first there. Gillingham and Sutton. 1.91 favourite the Gills. 0-0 at half-time. And it was a red-carded half-time. I do advocate laying the draw second half in a red-carded match if it's a draw at half-time. Because you're going to get a double whammy. If your favoured side with 11 players scores first, you're going to get a huge odds move in that. and that's going to be compounded by the fact that their opponent have 10 men. So you're really going to get that odd swing that you seek from a red-carded 0-0 draw at half-time. Mansfield and Donny, well, Mansfield scored first, slipped up there. MK Dons really impressed me last match with their in-play stats, got a win there as well. Notts County, 1.57. Poor old Eric Morecambe, 5-0. Oh, ouch. That hurt. Langstaff, he was on the old mince pies, getting a hat-trick in the first half. On to today. No live chat webinar, I'm afraid. There's not enough matches. There's 4 of these at 3 o'clock. And we've only got the Scottish Premier League 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 matches in total, really, that we can trade. Scottish Championship, League 1 and League 2. Too illiquid, I'm afraid. So let's have a look at the research. And I will be on Telegram for you throughout the day. But let's go and have a look at Saturday's research. That would be far handier than looking at yesterday's. So let me just bring this up. Here we go. English Premier League, Luton against Chelsea. Luton are having an excellent Christmas. 2 consecutive wins. Momentum, everything. 1.6 for Chelsea. Well, we don't know which Chelsea turns up, basically. They came into this on the back of 4 consecutive away defeats, but 2 consecutive home wins, conceding 2+ goals far too regularly away from home as well. And opponents have scored first in 7 out of 9 away matches for Chelsea. Is that going to continue against newly promoted Luton? We are getting to that part of the season now where we've got seasonal head-to-heads. Now, that might give you a little bit more confidence because it's a 3-0 win for Chelsea last time these two met. That might be your angle in today. Luton's only shining light against the top 10 where they just keep tending to lose was that 1-0 win against Newcastle latest. But that tells you more about Newcastle's woes than it does about any Luton improvement. Luton home matches do see 71% of goals coming in the second half. So do note that if it's a quiet first half. That's probably the modus operandi today. Keep Chelsea as quiet as possible. Aston Villa and Burnley. This is an opportunity for Aston Villa to start scoring 2+ goals again. They've only scored 1 goal maximum in the last 3 home matches, albeit 2 of the matches were against Man City and Arsenal. So let's not press the panic button just yet. Burnley, they can cope with high scorers. Fulham scored 13 goals in 3 consecutive home matches. Burnley kept them out and won 0-2. So do watch out. You're likely to get a very defensive display from Burnley today. They're pretty poor, though, it must be said. All defeats against the top 8, and they play 3rd today. Will Aston Villa score that second goal? They normally look to 3 goals at home. Watch out for that, because it's I don't know if it'll be a pattern concerning your man Dick Emery. The last newly promoted side to meet, Aston Villa, kept them to a 1-1 and nearly nicked it with a 0-1 late win. So watch out. Burnley will know what to do after watching Sheffield United. 1.33 could look a tad short for Aston Villa. Just initially, I think Burnley will offer some strong defence. Crystal Palace and Brentford is your traditional London derby. I won't be researching it. Probably won't be trading it because you get all sorts of surprises in derbies. Arsenal 0, West Ham 2, for example. 2.37 the favourite again. It's a gentle reminder to you. Man City and Sheffield United 1.03 with William Hill earlier on in the week. Gone up to 1.08 with Bet365. That tells you a story. But again, it's a little dismissive of what Sheffield United nearly achieved the last time they met Manchester City. It was 0-1 to the Blades late on. A Rodrigo getting an equaliser and then a late winner for Manchester City. So watch out. Sheffield United were exceptional against Aston Villa. That's going to be their tactic today. 1.03. But if that's available on Betfair, that's layable right at the off. 1.04. I would even lay 1.08, 1.09 at the off in this match. Sheffield United could keep it to 0-0 at half time. Man City, though, are far better at home, but both teams have scored in 7 of the last 8 matches. New manager for Sheffield United as well. Just tempers enthusiasm about reading this pre-match. But certainly, if they're anywhere near these ridiculous odds, 1.03, got to be laid at the off. Wolves against Everton, 2.5 the favourites. This tells you that this is a difficult match to unpack. Gary O'Neill's having a great Christmas for Wolves. Both teams tend to score in Wolves matches. The wins against Chelsea and Brentford are excellent, and they do their best work at home under Gary O'Neill. 3 wins and a draw in the last 4 at home. Everton the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit after their deduction of 10 points. The both teams to score angle has disappeared now, having met better sides in Tottenham and Manchester City. But they're still scoring and conceding. So we might see that pattern today. Wolves under Gary O'Neill did tend to have a both teams to score angle. I think they've only failed to score once this season under Gary O'Neill. They are far, far better at home, Wolves. This is an interesting match, but it's a tough one to unpack pre-match. Nottingham Forest and Man United, we've got that new manager syndrome for Nottingham Forest, and the market is very respectful of their 5 goals in 2 matches under Santa. Nuno Espirito Santa. Sticking the reindeer in goal. Can't go far wrong. 2 goals against Bournemouth in a red card affected match, and an excellent 1-3 win against Newcastle saw Chris Wood scoring a hat-trick. Accomplished finishing. I thought he was your hit it up, he'll get a header, bang it in the back of the net. But far more accomplished against Newcastle in his finishing. Very, very good stuff. So I wouldn't be discounting Nottingham Forest today. Man United, well, it's all doom or it's gloom. It's one of the two when Man United meet. But 0-2 to 3-2, suddenly against Aston Villa on Boxing Day, has the fans happy again. Can't read Man United. But if they get Garnacho and Højlund scoring, then that could impact Nottingham Forest. We'll watch this one with interest. I think both teams to score is a possible here. This is going to be more competitive, as the market suggests as well. 2.10 for Man United is very, very lukewarm favouritism. It's gone up to 2.20 with Bet365. Italian Serie A is our other elite league today. Atalanta against Lecce. Lecce will offer resistance, as their recent both teams to score and score draw pattern suggests. But that clashes with Atalanta's 4 out of 4 wins at home against 11th and lower. This is 8th against 12th today. Atalanta in a really poor position for a side of this stature. 8th in the league. 2 consecutive home losses again. 1-2 against Inter Milan, and Napoli ended with a 3-2 win against AC Milan. And a 4-1 against Salernitana. So both teams are scoring, and Atalanta have started to find their scoring shoes at home. 7 goals in 2 matches. Lecce have conceded in the last 12 and the last 8 away. They're yet to beat a top 7 side home or away, but 5 score draws and 3 defeats in the last 8. You thought they're learning from Udinese. Cagliari and Empoli, 2.05 the favourites. A bottom 3 clash. We have trust issues here. Win, draw, win at home for Cagliari may offer them some confidence against a fellow bottom 3 side. Only 1 win for Empoli since the 30th of October. Cagliari have not met the bottom 3 at home, so we don't know how they're going to perform against a fellow bottom side. Empoli have not met the bottom 5 away. It's got some real gaps in form which cloud our judgment there. Trust issues as well. Udinese, watch out. 11 draws this season for Udinese. 5 consecutive home draws. We have profited from them on the last 2 occasions. Udinese's drawitis has been a real solid angle. Can it continue? They're meeting one of the strongest sides this season. One of the most informed sides and surprise sides this season in Bologna. 4 wins in 5 matches. Both teams have scored in the last 5 away. It's an excellent season that Bologna have had. Only 2 defeats all season. Could this be Bologna ending the draw sequence because they're in such good form? 6 draws away, though, for Bologna. Oh, boy. But still, I would recommend you lay any late draw, and I would recommend you lay any Udinese 2-0 lead. They cocked it up against Sassuolo, but that was helped by a red card. I think they're going to be vulnerable again if leading. This Bologna are in excellent form, but quite clearly the market is a little lukewarm given their poor away form. 6 draws away for Bologna. AC Milan against Sassuolo. All wins bar 2-0-1 defeats at home for AC Milan is already an angle in, isn't it? If Sassuolo score first, they're unlikely to score that second consecutive goal. That gives us an angle in. 5 of the last 6 matches, AC Milan have scored at least 2 goals. 3 consecutive home wins, 2-0. They're really in good shape at the moment, aren't they? 3rd against 15th. They've won all their matches against 5th to 16th at home. They're yet to concede that second goal. It's all stacks up nicely for AC Milan today. 6 goals have been scored 31st to 45th minute at home. So if it's 0-0 after half an hour in the first half, you might want to go to the half-time score market, back at 1-0 AC Milan perhaps, and load up with a 2-0. Or lay the draw. 3 losses in 4 for Sassuolo. Both teams tend to score. They have conceded in the last 17 matches. Verona and Salernitana. 1.91 favourite at home, Verona. Possibility of a goal before half-time in this. Strong first-half goal angles. But that said, 2/3 of Verona goals have been scored in the second half. Salernitana conceded 2+ goals in 6 out of 7 recent matches. Verona have scored in the last 5 at home. These two are in the wrong part of the table, 16th against 18th, but Verona have beaten 18th. Placed Calgary 2-0 and 19th placed Empoli 0-1. So they will be quite happy. And this, for me, has an element of the Union Berlins about it. A side in really poor form this season. There are only 2 wins this season, bar the one in the last match came in the first 2 matches of the season. Very reminiscent of Union Berlin, but the market speaks clearly. So I will take what the market says and suggest Verona will not lose this match. Juve and Roma, derby-style match, I would suggest here. The old lady is in pretty good form. Top 2. Notable, more notable because there's a big 7-point gap to 3rd place. So Inter Milan and Juventus are the 2 form sides this season. Roma, under the special one, can still pull it out of the fire. They recently beat AC Milan 2-0, and I've just told you about how good AC Milan have been this season. Portuguese Primeira Liga, Estoril Firenze, probably not a match for me to focus on. Watch out for late goals, post 75th minute. I do prefer the big guns, Porto, Sporting, Braga and Benfica. Gap in form for the home side is a concern as well. I don't like seeing gaps in form. They've only played one of the top 9 at home. They're playing 7th today. So we don't know how they're going to perform against a top 9 side. Casapia and Braga. This is quite simply a case, I would suggest, of Braga outscoring Casapia. 1-1-0-0-0-1 goals scored at home for Casapia. 4 out of 5 goals conceded at home have come second half, so they might just last till half-time. But watch out for Braga. If they're in the mood, they have scored 4-3-1-3 goals in recent away matches. Highly likely we could see a goal before half-time if Braga are in the mood today. But Casapia could strangle the life out of them defensively, but I would still favour that Braga goal haul. Portimonense against Sporting Lisbon is the last match of the day. Only 1 clean sheet for Portimonense. They are coming into this on the back of a win-win draw at home. This is 13th against 1st. Sporting Lisbon having an excellent season. Only 2 losses for them came in the last 2 away matches. So this, for me, has the feel of a redemption match about it. 100% wins home and away against 6th and lower, and they're playing 13th today. Those are the matches, the main matches. I'm not going to be doing a live chat webinar because, as I say, there's only about 9 or 10 matches kicking off at 3 o'clock. Not enough. Sunday, no coverage at all. Monday, I'll do a live chat webinar for the English Championship, League 1 and League 2, which has been a real Christmas cracker, these 3 leagues. That's about it. So it'll be a quick in and out on Monday, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. They have been successful when I've done 3 o'clock to 5 o'clocks. 8 o'clock, Liverpool and Newcastle, you can cope admirably yourself. I'm not staying up till 3 a.m. just to cover 1 match on New Year's Day. I'm sure you'll understand. Reasonable enough to cope. Newcastle in woeful away form. That's going to change at some point. Otherwise, Eddie Howe is out on his arse. Liverpool have the title to think about. So that's going to give them huge motivation. 2 points ahead of Arsenal on the same points. Man City are back in 4th place. Aston Villa, with a win today, could break into that top 2. So could even go top. Well, maybe not on goal difference, but it's brewing up nicely at the top. Brewing up nicely. Have a great day. Sorry there's no live chat webinar, but I'm sure you'll understand. Back in proper action when this holiday period is over. See you for the beginning of today's football, which is likely to be for the early kickoffs. 2 o'clocks. No, that's the 31st. Let's go back to the 30th. probably for the 12:30 or even earlier for Atalanta Lecce if there is any surprise in that Atalanta Lecce match. Atalanta not in the best of form. Lecce capable of score draw. So we might get some change out of a 11:30 kickoff there. I'll be on Telegram for you. Please remember to, if you can, to also monitor the chat feed here. What the chat feed will do, it will just offer some additional plays as well. My thoughts, really, I'll be speaking out loud kind of thing on some matches. I'll be giving you some evidence as well via in-play stats. Have a look at the X, Y, and Z match. I don't like it because it's let's say, a London derby, but X, Y, and Z really lighting up the shot stats. You might want to be interested in that kind of thing. Derby style matches as well, I don't normally cover, but I might cover here, Juventus Roma, for example, if there's something in the in-play stats for you. Have a great day. See you throughout the day. 11:30 start for Atalanta Lecce, moving on into the 12:30s and then on into the 3 o'clocks where we've got English Premier League and we've also got the SPL. Have a great day.